right, ready for the next topic? It looks like we're going to talk some about how the off season has kind of progressed real slowly, and kind of our thoughts on that.
Yeah, so here we go.
This is kind of the second year in a row, isn't it? Yeah,
it is
second year in a row where us. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be different. I thought, early on it looked like things were happening, right? I mean, there were some trades in like November, weren't there?
Yeah.
It
yeah,
looked like
but
things were gonna
Paxton
speed up.
changed teams and things like that. Yeah, pretty early. And I thought that last year's slow off season was because the biggest teams wanted to stay under the salary cap for a season, so they could reset that penalty and then go off again this year.
Yeah, and they were waiting for guys like Machado and Bryce Harper, and the big guys to come hit the market, right? These big young players who are going to be invested in. Someone's going to invest in them. There's no way that these guys aren't going to get signed before the season starts or before spring training, but man, it's been slow.
Yeah, and I'm starting to worry that I'm seeing some warning signs of like an impending strike. I know we both lived through the 1994 strike and having a terrible year of no World Series. And I know back in the 80s, there was a time where the owners actually got in trouble for collusion, to where the two biggest free agents of the year actually tested the market and just ended up going back to their own teams. And it's almost starting to feel like that. Like something's going on, to where I saw that in general, team payrolls are down about an average of $10 million per team.
Wow.
But revenues were at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And so I think the owners might be kind of getting stingy. They might be working together to bring contracts down, that sort of thing. Who knows what's going on, really.
Right.
But it's starting to get to the point where it's a little concerning to me, to where we might have to deal with a strike in the future or something like that.
Yeah, hopefully we don't ever get to that, because that would be the last thing we'd want to do. I mean, that was detrimental to baseball in the mid-90s, right? Because after that, I think people stopped watching, and that kind of lent to the whole steroids era, right? Because it was like, well, let's create some excitement. Some of these players, were jumping on the juice and hitting 70 home runs and doing all that. So, do you think any of the slowness has to do with maybe these big guys just really want to wait around and kind of find the right team and get the biggest contract?
It could be. I kind of think the current GMs are kind of that's their strategy, is that we're going to wait these players out.
Yeah.
We're not going to step all over each other and get in a bidding war with each other.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to wait them out.
Yeah, and it might not be collusion. It just might be, savviness, right? They're learning from past mistakes. I mean, I can tell you that, as much as I enjoy being a Yankees fan and having them go out and spending money on big players, they did that a little bit too much. And they had some pretty bad contracts that burned them. And, I want my team to be a little bit more careful. And especially for some of the smaller market teams, where if they burn a contract as badly as, as some of these contracts that have been burned in the past few years, like they're out of it now for another 5 or 10 years until they can rebuild again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I mean, it's definitely times of changing, because, a close to 30-year-old Pujols got a 10-year contract a few years ago, and same thing with Joey Votto. And now it's like these teams won't even give that to these 26-year-olds that are already great players.
Right. Right. Although
so
I think they're going to get contracts, though. I mean, Harper and Machado, especially Machado. I think a little bit more highly of Machado's skills as a baseball player, and I just think his value is there as a 26-year-old. He's going to get a big contract. There's going to be some big paydays. Yeah. It's just who pays for him and when does that go down. And kind of last year we were thinking the same thing. It's like, when is the domino gonna fall? Right? Is Machado and Harper going to be the domino that really light up this offseason?
Yeah, it could be. It could be, because I think maybe that'll open it up to where whoever missed out on one of those guys that wanted him, all of a sudden will put out a big blockbuster trade.
Yeah.
And we could see somebody move. Although we have seen Goldschmidt move, and that's pretty a big deal. But maybe somebody like an Arenado even goes on the block, because he's only got like 1 year left on his contract. Somebody like that even.
Yeah. There's actually, we're saying it's slow, but I mean, there's been some moves, and you mentioned it early on. There was the Paxton trade to the Yankees. I know that the Yankees have picked up a couple of guys too. Tulowitzki, he's not.
They got LeMahieu yesterday.
Right?
Yeah.
There was a couple guys yesterday too. Not just the Yankees. Who else went yesterday? Do you remember?
There's been a few. But I mean, McCutchen's found a team.
McCutchen,
a couple relief pitchers have signed. The Yankees got the geez, I'm blanking on his name. Britton, was it?
Oh yeah, Zach Britton. Yep, Zach Britton signed.
Zach Britton.
So
Zach Britton signed. Yeah, so there's been a few moves. The outfielder from the Indians went to the Astros. Michael
Brantley. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so there's
still a little bit of movement happening.
Yeah. There's
a
little bit, and I mean, some of those will cause some interest because I mean, Brantley might tear it up in Houston. Cano going to the Mets is another one.
Yeah.
And
right.
Daniel Murphy going to the Rockies is another one.
Daniel Murphy,
as
that
well.
was the one I was trying to think of as well. Yeah. So there's been a little bit. There's been some moves, and it's like I think what's happened is everybody's sitting there and they're waiting for these big names, right? You're waiting for someone to pay $300 million for Machado or Bryce Harper, and it's like that's not happening. So it's like when's something going to happen, right? But Patrick Corbin went to Washington, right?
Yes, he did.
So
there has
Donaldson
been some moves.
Went to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. And I think I have a second base video in the can that I plan on getting out and talking about the second basemen that have changed teams. There's been a few of them.
There has been a few of them. Yeah. Nelson Cruz to the Twins.
That's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because I think the Twins kind of underachieved last year and they might bounce back. And he could help them out with that.
Yeah, for sure.
So the slow offseason, I think there are some red flags, but hopefully it doesn't develop to worse, and hopefully we do see some interesting action that will affect fantasy. Because it'll be great to see some players in new uniforms, maybe somebody on your favorite team or somebody that will make you want to draft because they're in a ballpark that's more friendly to their skills or whatever it may be.
Absolutely. Sometimes it just takes a trade to get some guy on a radar, so you go, oh, hey, this guy.
Oh yeah.
I might want to target this guy. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Dumb guys.